Hello everyone, I'm Chantel and welcome to Health in Space. Scientists and engineers use a variety of methods to gather data about space. They use telescopes, which use mirrors and lenses to collect light. They take robotic missions to other places in our solar system, and they use instruments to examine magnetic fields, gravity, particles, light, and more. In regards to health in space, astronauts must be very fit to take on all the changes that happen to their bodies in space. Astronauts experience free fall all day, every day as they orbit the Earth. As astronauts float, the blood and water inside of them also floats. This fluid shift causes the upper portion of astronauts' bodies to swell and their legs to become thinner. Earth's gravity still affects the space station and the astronauts, but since they are continually falling around the Earth orbiting, they constantly experience that free-falling feeling we occasionally experience on amusement park rides. Astronauts aren't riding a roller coaster, though they are riding the International Space Station at 17,500 miles per hour, 200 to 250 miles above the Earth. Since the astronauts, their food and supplies, and their spacecraft are all falling together in orbit around the Earth, everything appears to float. To give you an example of how the upper area of an astronaut's body swells and then their lower leg area gets thinner, you could take some fabric measuring tape and measure your ankles. Then lay on the ground with one leg straight up for 1 minute. Measure again and notice the difference between the swelling above and below your ankles. Notice what area became thinner and what area swelled. You can also do the same thing, repeat the same thing again 5 minutes later, and notice the difference. Have you ever had a sunburn? What do you think causes sunburns? How do you protect yourself from getting sunburned? Humans need UV radiation because our skin uses it to manufacture vitamin D, vital for maintaining healthy bones. About 10 minutes of sun each day allows our skin to make the recommended amount. However, too much UV exposure causes the skin to burn and leads to wrinkled and patchy skin cancer, and eye damage. Now to continue with health in space, let's focus on space radiation. On Earth, we are protected by our atmosphere from most UV radiation coming from the sun. The ozone layer absorbs much of the UV, but some still gets through. We can protect ourselves by covering with clothing and using sunscreen. In space, there is no atmosphere to protect astronauts from UV radiation. Astronauts have to provide their own protection in the form of spacesuits, helmets with protective visors, and space stations. While these measures work very well for protecting against UV radiation, the higher energy radiation is not completely blocked. Even with protective shielding, astronauts on board the International Space Station receive a daily dosage of radiation about equal to 8 chest X-rays. Astronauts wear special radiation detectors, dosimeters, that help determine how much exposure they have had to radiation. The sun is the source of UV energy or radiation. This energy is invisible to our eyes and we cannot feel it, but it still affects our bodies. The Earth's atmosphere blocks much of the sun's UV light. The ozone layer in our upper atmosphere forms a protective sphere, absorbing much of the UV energy. Now let's focus on weight in space. Weight and mass are not the same things. Although mass remains the same in space, weight changes in microgravity. In space, a microgravity environment, astronauts' muscles become smaller and their muscles don't have to work hard to lift their bodies or equipment that the astronauts use. It's like lifting the space can. In space, since there is no gravity or their muscles to pull against, their muscles become weaker. On the moon, which has about 1/6 the pull of gravity that Earth has, future explorers' muscles will get a little bit of a workout. On Mars, it has about 1/3 the pull of gravity that Earth has. A 150-pound person would seem like 25 pounds on the moon and like 50 pounds on Mars. To prepare for health in space, astronauts must work out almost 2 hours every day while they are in space, and even then they still lose muscle mass. Kids and adults on Earth also lose muscle mass if we don't exercise enough. Thank you for tuning in to Health in Space. I'll see you next time for a trip to Mars. Thanks.